Stewie Griffin can appear to be a harmless infant, but hiding behind that football head is a genius criminal with an appetite for adventure and sometimes mayhem. Today, we're counting down the top 10 times that Stewie Griffin should have died, but didn't. At number 10, we start with one of the first baby with heavy artillery ones. Stewie builds himself a rocket launcher. It's just Tuesday for this kid, and naturally, things go wrong. The weapon spectacularly backfires behind him, unleashing an explosion that should have reduced him to ash in a heartbeat. We're talking about an explosion that can level a small building, and Stewie's standing right at ground zero. The physics alone makes it impossible. A rocket launcher explosion creates heat hot enough to melt steel, and the shockwave should have shattered his diminutive form into confetti. Rather, Stewie emerges from the smoke cloud completely unharmed and eager to try again. It's as if watching someone survive a grenade blowing up in their hand, except the person involved is a 1-year-old in diapers. Rolling along nicely into number 9, Stewie decides to build himself a humongous hamster ball, because clearly regular baby toys are beneath him. This monstrosity is huge, and naturally it completely escapes him. Picture this. A huge plastic sphere with a baby inside, careening down a steep incline at highway speed, trundling over all manner of obstacles in its path. The ball crashes into buildings, shatters fences, and finally crashes into a concrete wall with enough force to crush an automobile. Basic physics states that the shock stop would have liquefied whatever was in that ball. The G-forces themselves would be fatal for any human being, let alone a baby. But when things die down, Stewie just climbs out and acts like he just took a stroll. It's ridiculous. Coming in at number 8, Stewie's superintelligence almost turns against him when he constructs a teleporter. The device fails during his initial test, and rather than deftly transporting him from one place in the room to another, it shreds him apart at the molecular level. We watch Stewie stretch out, contort, and disperse across several dimensions at once. The scene here is horrifying. Teleportation that has gone wrong would dissolve a person. Every atom in his body would be ripped apart and scattered away like autumn leaves on a breeze. There's no coming back from that. It's akin to being put through a blender at the molecular level. And, of course, Stewie manages to survive reconstructing himself, stumbling out of the machine, stoned, but otherwise in great condition. The mere fact that he is not a puddle of organic matter is miraculous. At 7, Stewie overdid it when his time machine exploded with him inside it. This is not just an explosion. This is a temporal energy explosion that warps space and time around him. The machine tears itself to pieces in a blinding flash of light, and Stewie is dead in the center of it. Think about what a time machine explosion would do. We're working with energies that will distort the very fabric of reality. The effect of time dilation alone should have aged him to dust in an instant, or at least shrunk him to a baby paradox. The mere energy output would be at a nuclear level or better. Stewie's flung out of the blast, deposited in a bush, and his biggest complaint is that he must have his diaper changed. It's like surviving the Big Bang with a headache. Coming in at number 6, Stewie builds a giant robot suit because normal evil plots are too mundane for him. The robot goes haywire and starts destroying everything in its path, including a few buildings. The twist? Stewie's still inside when the whole debacle collapses. Picture metal stacks and equipment falling over, covering all below. The robot suit folds like a house of cards, and Stewie should be pancaked in amongst all the devastation. The sheer weight would be enough to flatten a truck, let alone a baby. And then, once the smoke is cleared, Stewie is crawling out of the ruins like he just emerged from a minor fender bender. At 5, things get dangerous when Stewie is mistakenly given steroids and becomes a muscle-bound monster baby. But it's not the steroids that nearly kill him, it's what happens afterward. When the drugs wear off, his body becomes severely shocked by the sudden withdrawal of muscle. We're talking about his entire muscular system collapsing all at once. His enlarged heart, one that has had to accommodate his gigantic body, just can't keep the blood circulating. His organs fail, and he collapses in what would traditionally be fatal cardiac arrest. Any normal human would be dead in a few minutes because of this kind of system failure. But Stewie? He simply lies on the floor for a while, sleeps, and then is back up and going like nothing was ever amiss. Number 4 is Stewie's disastrous foray into beekeeping. He decides to administer steroids to the bees to make them work more effectively. Surprise! A swarm of uber-aggressive steroid-enhanced bees with a death wish for him. And almost succeeds. These are not regular bees. These are roided-up killer bees that attack en masse. We're talking thousands of stings, each one pumping venom into his tiny body. The allergic reaction alone would have killed him within minutes. His throat would have swollen shut, his organs would have imploded, and he would have succumbed to anaphylactic shock death. But no, he only gets all puffy and uncomfortable, like he's experiencing an allergic reaction to shellfish. Rolling into number 3, Stewie and Brian find themselves locked in a bank vault with very little oxygen. Hours go by, and they start to suffocate. The air gets thinner and thinner, and both of them start showing signs of oxygen loss. This is what's so funny about suffocation. Babies take so much more oxygen relative to body weight than adults. Stewie would have been the first to go, his tiny lungs unable to extract enough oxygen from the running out air. We see him get weaker, his speech slurred, his movements slowing. Classic fatal oxygen deprivation. By rights, he should have keeled over and not woken up again. But somehow he finds a way to cling on until they're rescued. At number 2 is Stewie creating a virtual reality simulation where he takes over the world, but things get out of control so that when he dies in the simulation, he may die in life as well. And, naturally, he does die, in the most melodramatic, over-the-top dramatic way possible. He has an enormous shootout with Lois and Peter, complete with explosions, bullets flying everywhere, and fisticuffs. The final battle is brutal. Stewie gets shot up multiple times, avoids a few explosions, and then gets shot in the head at point-blank range in what would have been a lethal encounter. The simulation is so realistic that his brain should have convinced his body that he died. It's like the ultimate placebo effect. If your brain convinces your body that you're dead, then your body will be dead. And yet, when the simulation is terminated, Stewie is not harmed. And finally, at number 1, we have the unlikeliest survival of them all, Stewie surviving a nuclear explosion. He causes one in the execution of one of his schemes for world domination, and the blast surrounds him. We are talking about the most destructive force ever unleashed by humanity, and Stewie is at ground zero. A nuclear blast creates temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. The first shockwave moves at supersonic speeds, and just the radiation would be instantly lethal. The heat radiation would burn everything in miles. There is simply no conceivable means of survival from this. Even if you were within the most sophisticated bunker ever built, you'd still be toast. And yet, somehow, Stewie steps out of the mushroom cloud completely unscathed. He's not even radiating. He just brushes himself off and starts plotting his next move like he just barely missed a firecracker going off. It's the most ridiculous, physics-defying survival in television history. And that's our countdown of 10 times Stewie Griffin should have been wiped off the face of the earth, but somehow lived to scheme another day. Which moment shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know if we missed any impossible survivals. If you enjoyed watching this baby cheat death, subscribe for more wild cartoon breakdowns.